Hello, my name is Colin Mumford. I'm the Technical Support Manager at Bayer Crop Science. Today I want to talk to you about the various control methods that are available for the control of vine weevil and other such pests. When it comes to an integrated approach, ideally you should be using the cultural practices first, followed by the biological and then the chemical practices. Chemistry should be the final piece in the jigsaw of an integrated approach to managing pests. Cultural controls are your first line of defence, and these include things like removing hiding opportunities, because the vine weevil is a nocturnal animal. If you come out of a night time with a dimly lit torch, you can easily find them to pick them off the plant. You can use other methods like sticky bands around the stems of the plants as well to catch the adults as they climb up into the canopy of the plant. And you can also use covers over the top of the growing media to trap the adults in the growing media so that they can't emerge from the growing media and climb up into the canopy of the plant. In reality, some of these cultural practices would not really be used for a large-scale grower because they're not economically viable, but they are options to smaller scale operations. So those are 4 examples of cultural practices. Next to consider are biological practices, and we're talking about nematodes and fungus. These are very effective methods, but it is critical that the environmental conditions are appropriate for their use, for them to be as effective as possible. If you can apply them in the correct environmental conditions, you will achieve good levels of control. And thirdly, chemical control, by which I'm referring to insecticides. And what I'd like to do now is concentrate on one specific insecticide, which is Exempta. Okay, so now I will talk about Exempta, the insecticide Exempta. This is a granular product. It's incorporated into the growing media, and it's either can be purchased already incorporated in compost, or you can purchase it as a concentrate and mix it into compost yourself. And it contains the active ingredient thiacloprid. Its use is for ornamental plants, both indoor and outdoor, so protected and outdoor plants. So it differs from the earlier generation of neonicotinoids that have now been withdrawn, as they were indoor use only in recent times. Thiacloprid, a 3rd generation neonicotinoid, can be used both indoors and for plants outdoors. Exempta has a wide spectrum of pests that it controls. It's what we would call a broad spectrum insecticide. The pests that Exempta will control include aphids, glasshouse whitefly, black vine weevil, sciarid beetle and leaf beetles. With Exempta you will also get sustained control. There are 2 different application rates, 400 grams per cubic metre and 300 grams per cubic metre. At the 400 grams per cubic metre rate, you will get up to 38 weeks control of vine weevil. The higher application rate is also there for the sciarid fly, because the sciarid fly is really difficult to control. And at that rate you would get up to 6 weeks control for the sciarid fly. At the lower rate of 300 grams per cubic metre, you can expect up to 17 weeks control for vine weevil. And you would get up to 10 weeks control for the whitefly, 8 weeks for the leaf beetle, and up to 17 weeks for aphids. The label for Exempta shows that it can be used on composts that contain peat. However, Exempta also has what's called an EMU. An EMU stands for Extension of Authorization for Minor Use. The EMU on Exempta allows for the product to be used on peat-free compost. So now you can use Exempta in compost containing peat or peat-free. Exempta also has a very good environmental profile. Exempta has a short half-life. That may sound counterintuitive, that a short half-life is good, but it is. It means that the product isn't lingering around in the environment. It breaks down very quickly and isn't left as a residue in the environment for months and months to come. The product doesn't leach from the soil either. So when you're watering your pots that have the compost that contains Exempta, you're not flushing the active ingredient out of the compost and flushing it down the drains. It's very stable, it binds strongly to the compost and does not leach. It also has good margins of safety for a wide range of species, including birds, fish, insects and a wide variety of arthropods. And it also has a very favourable bee profile. I'd like to talk a bit more now about neonicotinoids and how Exempta, as a third generation neonicotinoid, differs from those neonicotinoids that have been withdrawn from the market. Neonicotinoids have had bad publicity in recent times, particularly with concerns about bee health. In recent times, 3 specific neonicotinoid active ingredients have actually been withdrawn from the market. These are thiamethoxam, clothianidin and imidacloprid. This year, the 19th of September 2018, that was the last day which you could actually purchase any products containing one of those 3 neonicotinoid active ingredients. They also have a use update, and that is the 19th of December 2018 for their use up and disposal of those products. So thiacloprid is a third generation neonicotinoid. It has a very good safety profile for bees, as bees are able to metabolize thiacloprid and break it down very rapidly with their enzyme system. This differs from other neonicotinoids, the ones that have been withdrawn, because the chemical structure of thiacloprid is completely different to those of those first generation neonicotinoids. Thiacloprid containing products have been classified as bee safe. The German authorities carried out a number of trials and tests and analysis of thiacloprid, and they declared that products containing thiacloprid are bee safe. Interestingly, there was a research paper published last year, 2017, which looked into the effects of thiacloprid amongst other neonicotinoids on bees. This research paper was summarised quite succinctly in Horticulture Week, and within that paper they found that for a bee to consume a lethal dose of thiacloprid, they would require them to consume 21,794 grams of pollen. So that's 21.7 kilograms of pollen. Now the time it takes for an average bee to consume 21.7 kilograms of pollen would take approximately 2,000 years. And given that the average lifespan of a bee in the summertime is about 3 weeks and in the wintertime would be about 6 weeks, it's extremely unlikely that a bee would consume a lethal dose of thiacloprid. Bayer takes bee care very seriously, to the point where it actually has 3 dedicated facilities around the world, dedicated bee care centres in Germany, the USA and Brazil. These bee care centres look at ways in which to improve the husbandry of bees, improve the stewardship of products with regards to their safety for bees, but also, more importantly, actually produces medicines for bees. The 2 biggest causes of bee colony mortality are disease and the varroa mite. And Bayer is one of a few companies in the world that produces medicines for bees. An example of this is the bee gate. The bee gate is a medicinal brush that's put on the entrance of a beehive. So when the bee comes into the hive, it passes through the bee gate, it brushes against the brush and receives the medicinal treatment against the varroa mite. And it's proven very successful in reducing the populations of varroa mites in beehives. For more information about Bayer's bee care centres and the work that Bayer does for bee health, we have a website which is www.beecare.bayer.com. So, to summarise what I've spoken about today, I've talked about the practices that are available to growers to combat pests such as the vine weevil, the cultural practices, the biological practices and chemical practices. I've talked about Exempta, how it works, that it contains a neonicotinoid, thiacloprid, but this is a third generation neonicotinoid, and it's like chalk and cheese comparing it to those first generation neonicotinoids that have now been withdrawn from the market. I've talked about it being a broad spectrum insecticide, so it covers a wide range of pests that growers are subjected to, and also that it has a good period of control. And I've also mentioned about the environmental profile, very good bee safety profile and very good environmental profile overall. That concludes my presentation. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the information useful. Thank you.